You do not want to pay for a cruise, pack your bags, show up at the port, and then find out your record, supervision status, or paperwork keeps you from boarding. So here's the direct answer. Yes, many people with felony convictions can go on cruises. A felony by itself does not automatically mean a U.S. citizen can never cruise, but your answer depends on your legal status, travel documents, the cruise line, and the countries your ship visits. And booking the cruise does not always mean you are cleared to board. Before you think about the cruise line, ask this first. Are you legally allowed to travel? If you finished your sentence, have no active restrictions, no warrants, and no court order limiting travel, then cruising may be possible. But if you are on probation, parole, supervised release, or any kind of court supervision, do not assume a vacation is allowed. Federal supervision, for example, often requires permission to travel outside your district, and international travel may require extra approval depending on your conditions. That matters because a cruise is not just a hotel on water. Even if it starts in the United States, it may leave the country. Before you book, read your court paperwork. Check your supervision rules. Ask your probation or parole officer before paying for anything. If permission is required, get it in writing. Also check for unresolved legal issues. A warrant, pending case, or travel restriction can create problems fast. Once you know you are allowed to travel, the next question is whether you have the right documents. Some cruises do not require a passport book, but having one is usually safer. A closed-loop cruise usually starts and ends at the same U.S. port. For certain closed-loop cruises in the Western Hemisphere, U.S. citizens may be able to use a government photo ID plus proof of citizenship, like a birth certificate or naturalization certificate, for re-entry by sea. But the cruise line may still require a passport. A destination country may still require a passport. And if something goes wrong, a birth certificate and driver's license may not be enough. The State Department strongly recommends that cruise passengers travel with a passport book because emergencies can require international air travel home. If you miss the ship at a foreign port, have a medical emergency, or the itinerary changes, you may need to fly back to the United States. That is much harder without a passport book. Some people also have special passport rules. Covered sex offenders must self-identify when applying for a passport, and the State Department says passport books get a special identifier, while passport cards cannot be issued to covered sex offenders. So the simple version is this. If you can get a passport book, get one. Cruise line screening can also matter. Carnival, for example, says it may use third-party consumer reports to conduct criminal background checks after booking, and it may deny boarding for certain felony convictions, including aggravated physical or sexual assault, armed robbery, and related offenses and other violent crimes. That does not mean every cruise line has the same policy, or that every felony creates the same problem. But it does mean you should not rely on the booking confirmation alone. If your conviction involved violence, a sex offense, weapons, robbery, or another serious charge, contact the cruise line before booking. Ask in writing if possible. Be specific about your itinerary. Ask about their guest screening policy and cancellation rules before paying. The goal is to avoid losing money or getting turned away at the port. A cruise line can feel like one vacation package, but legally, it may involve several countries. Destination countries can deny entry based on criminal history. A passport does not force another country to let you in. Staying on the ship does not always solve the issue either. The cruise line and the destination may still care about admissibility. Canada is a major example. This matters for Alaska cruises, because many of the itineraries include Canadian stops. Canada says a person may be criminally inadmissible for certain offenses, including theft, assault, manslaughter, dangerous driving, DUI, drug possession, or drug trafficking. Canada also lists possible ways to overcome criminal inadmissibility, such as deemed rehabilitation, approved rehabilitation, a record suspension, or a temporary resident permit. But those options can take time. Approval is not guaranteed, and you do not want to discover this after you already paid. Before booking, check these things. Confirm you are not restricted by probation, parole, supervised release, or a court order. Get written travel permission if your supervision rules require it. Make sure you have valid travel documents, preferably a passport book. Read the cruise line's guest screening policy. Contact the cruise line in writing if your record may trigger a concern. Check the entry rules for every destination country. Pay special attention to Canada stops, especially on Alaska cruises. Keep court disposition documents handy. Avoid last-minute bookings if your situation is complicated. This is not legal advice. Individual cases depend on the conviction, sentence status, destination, and cruise line. So, can a felon go on a cruise? Yes, many people with felony convictions can, but 4 things have to line up. You need to be legally allowed to travel. You need the right documents. The cruise line has to allow you to board, and the countries on the itinerary cannot create entry problems. A record can make travel more complicated, but it does not automatically mean the door is closed. Check before booking, get answers in writing when possible, and never assume a paid reservation means everything is cleared. If this helped, like this video, subscribe to Fresh Start Society, and visit freshstartsociety.hq.com for more information.